Hey guys, what's up? And welcome back to the channel. Much appreciated. You guys taking a little bit of time out to check out today's video. And today I'm going to talk about something that's one of my favorite springtime lures, and it's been one of my favorite springtime lures for, man, close to 30 years. And this particular bait that I'm going to show you guys today, I've probably had more 8-pound class fish actually hit this bait. I've caught probably, I'm going to guess, 3 bass over 8 pounds on this particular lure, but I've had a lot of them boil on it and miss it. Than just about any lure that I've ever thrown. And it's sort of going to surprise you guys. This is an old school, it's a soft plastic jerk bait, the original one. I wonder if how many guys can guess what it is. And of course, here it is. It's the old Slugo. You newer guys may not even know what this is or have ever fished it before, but I know the old school guys will. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to talk about it, tell you when I fish it, how I rig it, and it's still one of the most effective baits that you can possibly use in the springtime of the year. And what happened is, I'll give you guys a little bit of history about the Slugo. Back in the, I think it was like the early 90s, company named Lunker City developed this thing. And when this bait came out, it was just like, it was one of the most phenomenal baits that there are. I mean, it's like, it's sort of on the same line as like the Cinco. When the Cinco came out or the Alabama rig came out, it's like the people that had these Slugos they were catching 100 fish a day everywhere they went, winning tournaments on the thing, just doing unbelievable on it. And, it had a pretty good run for about, 5 years or so. It was situational, pretty much relegated to the springtime. But what happened is when the fluke came out, the Zoom Super Fluke, it sort of like took a back seat to it. For whatever reason, people started using the fluke type more. And then there was a lot of different companies got started making soft plastic jerk baits. And the original Slugo sort of, took a back seat to it. You don't, hear about it or see it much anymore. But I'm telling you guys right now, this Slugo, like I said, is one of the best big bass lures I have ever seen in the right situation. The times you want to fish this thing is right now, when those water temperatures start to get, like in the upper 50s, up until like the early post-spawn, late pre-spawn, early post-spawn, during the spawn. This thing will bring up the biggest fish in shallow water that you have. It works all over the country. I've had some unbelievable days in Florida on this thing. I've caught smallmouth up north on it. I've done really good here in the Ozarks with it. I've caught them down at Toledo Bend on it. It's just a phenomenal bait for a lot of different situations. And for the most part, it's a pretty clear water, bait. The times that I like to fish the Slugo is when you have water visibilities over 4 feet. That's when it works the best on the shad type colors. But you can also, I've done really good going with the dark ones, like the black ones, in the more off-colored dirty water. I had a really good tournament down at Ross Barnett on the black one time, water visibility maybe 2 feet, water temperatures in the upper 50s, and they really like that dark one. So it's a super subtle bait, and that's why it's so effective. It's quiet, it doesn't telegraph itself, and it resembles something really natural. It's sort of like it's sort of along the same lines as a Cinco in that aspect, that it doesn't give itself away and it looks supernatural. But I'm going to give you guys a rigging tip here, because this particular bait, it's very sensitive about how you rig it. A lot of people, what they did is they Texas rigged it with a like an EWG type hook. And while it works like this, that particular hook, it has a tendency to make the bait want to pop out of the water, and like you jerk it and it wants to go to the surface. But the best time that you want to throw this thing is you want to dart it where it goes down, almost work it like a jerk bait. And I'm going to show you guys a tip how to do it, which I don't think a lot of people know on this. This is the way I like to do it. First of all, what I do is I come in and there's 2 segments there. I like to sort of break those segments a little bit, just sort of split them, and that gives the bait a little bit more action. Then the next thing I do is I take a straight shank Gamakatsu flipping hook. This is a 3/0 Gamakatsu flipping hook, straight shank. And I'm going to come in on the bottom side as you can see. I'm not coming through the top of it, I'm coming through the bottom side. And I'm gonna run it all the way through the bottom. You gotta be really careful when you're rigging this thing to get it on straight, because if you don't get it on straight, it'll run crooked in the water, it'll blow out. So get it on really straight and you wanna come out right above this segment right here on the bottom. Like that. So I'm coming out the bottom. So I'm rigging this thing. This is not, I tweaked this and I developed this sort of on my own. I don't know anyone else that rigs it on this, but I rig it from the bottom like that, and then I'm leaving just a little bit of bend in it like that. And this bend is the whole key. Just this slight bend, not much in it, but this is the whole key, because what this bend does is that when it's pointing down like that, it makes the bait dart underwater, and you can work it like a jerk bait. And then when you get a bite, it has the exposed hook and you just never miss them. And I'm fishing this thing over open water most of the time. I don't fish a Slugo really around targets like cover or wood or that type of stuff. The favorite way that I like to fish a Slugo is when those fish are coming up on a bait. Like I said, it doesn't matter if the water visibility is 2 feet or if it's 4+ feet. I'm fishing this open water, fairly high in the water column, and I can get away with that exposed hook on there. I guess if there's been some times where I fished it around some shallow grass and Texas rigged it, but I don't like to do that. This is my favorite way to rig it. And another thing you want to do on this is you want to rig it with a barrel swivel, because this is a line twisting dude. So I'll take a barrel swivel about 12 inches above the line, like a 15-pound test leader on the thing, throwing it on 15-pound test main line 2 with a stiff 7-foot bait casting rod. You want to use a fairly stiff rod because you really need to drive that hook home. That's a fairly substantial beefy hook. So I'm using like that Megabass Perfect Pitch 7-foot rod for that. But man, I'm telling you guys right there, I have caught so many giants on that, and I've had so many awesome days on the water with that Slugo right there rigged just like that, that it's just hard to explain, when you get the right situation on that. The best situation for this particular bait is you need light, you basically need very little wind to calm conditions. For some reason, they don't like this bait, or they don't bite it as good under, if it's blowing, because it's such a subtle bait that it's a sight bait. So you need to have the less surface disturbance as possible. My favorite scenario for this, if I had to have one, it would be like a partly cloudy day. I don't really care for a cloudy day because it's, again, you can see it better on a bright day. Water visibility over 4 feet, no wind whatsoever, just slick, calm conditions, and trying to fish it over like that 5 to 10 foot zone in the late pre-spawn, spawn, and post-spawn. And when you get those set of conditions out there, this bait can be absolutely deadly. One of the things that will kill the bite is if you have a north wind, or if you have a cold front that comes through. Those fish just won't come up on the bait. They'll come up and look at it and not bite it very good. So the rule of thumb that I have for the Slugo is I throw it, if the wind's blowing out of the south, light south wind. If it's blowing out of the north, then I'll put it down. So anyway, guys, give it a try. I'm telling you, this is an overlooked bait. Nobody fishes it anymore. It's still just as effective as it's ever been. It's just taking a backseat to the more, high-tech, more popular, soft plastic jerk baits. Not that the fluke's an awesome bait. I catch a ton of fish on that, but there's definitely a time for the Slugo that will, catch the biggest fish in the lake that you have. Give it a try. Like I said, see if you guys, prove me wrong, or see if you guys works in the lakes that you're fishing, and I think you'll be pretty happy with it. So anyway, that's today's tip. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you like it, hit that subscribe button and the like button, and we'll be back later with another one. See you.